For the ones that are still here, go play the game. It's free right now. Actually, you know what? I'll probably cut this in the front of the video. Before we start this video, this game is free to play on Epic until like June 26th, I think is what I saw. First of all, thank you for taking the time to sort of just chat with me again. I already thanked you off camera, but yeah, no, I appreciate you taking the time. For the ones that don't know, this is North Star. North Star, if you don't mind, just giving a quick, 101 of who you are and what you do, so people are aware and where to find you even, and we'll sort of wrap on that as well.
Well, hi, I'm North Star. I stream on Twitch. I am the North Star. I make YouTube videos at just North Star. I make educational videos, just clip montages, even just gameplay videos. I like teaching people, like helping people improve, and yeah, I love Gigantic, so it's good to try and bring some attention to how good the game is through content.
Nice. Yeah. Is that Mayweather in the back?
That is Mayweather,
nice.
yes.
It's a good picture. Good picture. Very motivational.
100%.
So yeah, we're obviously going to touch on Gigantic here. That is going to be the main topic of discussion. And I think that, well, I just had an interview with Falco not so long ago, and I think that your perspective can definitely help sort of gain attention towards community expectations as of late, because I think you're deeply woven within Gigantic. I know that I sort of discovered you a couple months ago when you did like the status effect video on Gigantic or whatnot, and I thought that was very, very good and very informative. But that's also sort of showcasing like the issue within the game where it doesn't really explain things to you as well, right? So I think that having that layer of somebody just being able to give you information, whether that's on YouTube, hopefully maybe within the game in the future, I think that's a good layer of sort of just introducing the game to people. So just touching on that, what sort of made you want to get involved with Gigantic? And we can go as far as, the first release even. So just, give your spiel as to your introduction to Gigantic.
Well, I never played the original one. It was, I think it was 2021. I just found a video on YouTube and I watched it. I was like, oh, this game's so cool. And I found out it was dead, and obviously, and I found out about the private server, and around Christmas of 2021, I got into that. And that was when I started playing it pretty much every day in a private server.
So you're one of the private server users, which again is something that I just recently learned about, that people actually, quote unquote, hacked into the game and started playing it, just by modding it essentially. So I thought that was really freaking cool. So you're part of that movement essentially. Yeah, that's awesome. And you stuck with it. You stuck with it and sort of just pushed with the community and made enough big of a roar for them to push out what is now Rampage Edition, it seems, right?
100%. I mean, without that private server community, without those people who were still there showing that it was fun and people were playing it, if the gameplay was bad, people wouldn't be playing it after it's died. So, there was a reason we were doing it. We wanted to show that there was a reason it should come back.
Yeah. Something that I discussed with Falco in the last one was that in comparison to like the newest build, right, the public one, the private one may have been even much more stable than what we're dealing with today. And I don't know if that's something you sort of want to touch on, but and again, I don't have experience with sort of that private server stuff, but it seems like the recent build has been much more difficult for the mainstream consumer to sort of dive into, especially coming off of, and I'm familiar with day one or even week one releases. I don't think Gigantic had a fair launch in that sense, which made it difficult to sort of jump into the game.
100%. I mean, as far as launches go, it was awful. Yeah. It was not good. It was not ready to be released in the state it was. But as far as I've said, like the private server was more stable server wise, because the servers we had, they were reliable. Connecting to games was easy. Getting into games was easy. And when you were in game, there were only a few times I remember where people were disconnecting and stuff. But compared to like now, where it seems like every other game there's an issue going on, someone's disconnecting, you can't get into a game. Obviously, solo queue doesn't work, so there is a lot of issues there.
Yeah. And speaking of like just the today's game of Gigantic, you are like you're ranking, right? Like with rank being out now, like you're looking to like rank up and actually like grind this out, right? How's that experience going so far? And I think we're like what, on day 2, day 3 right now of like the sort of preseason ranked. How's that feeling like? Competitive?
It's good. I'm enjoying it. It's the match quality is definitely increased because now that everyone has, you know, an MMO, you're playing with people who can compete with you, so the games are closer. They're a lot more exciting rather than just one team destroying the other. One thing I will say is 5 stacking in ranked is a big issue that I've actually been telling people to 5 stack to try and show the devs that it's not a good thing. You know, if you 5 stack, you're going to just win games. You know, it should just be duos maximum because it's just not fun playing solo and running into a 5 stack and just getting destroyed.
Yeah, that's always been a problem for me, especially I don't think a lot of people, like if you're going against 5 people on Discord and it's like, what the hell, I don't stand a chance. That level of communication just is always going to surpass one dude or 2 people just trying to have a good time and play or even try hard. It's gonna be hard getting through that level of communication. But yeah, I agree. Touching on that though, like from a community standpoint and the developers, how has that line of communication been? Like, do you feel like you're being heard more or less, or do you think that the development team, and me and you both know that development team has sort of been attached to this IP, right? Because in the previous one, it was Motiga that was more or less in charge of it. And there's a love story there because it was its child. But how do you think that line of communication is with this new sort of community and this new developer?
I mean, like, listen, I can imagine. I can't even imagine how hard it is for them. You're given a game that it isn't your code. It's in an outdated engine.
It's like adopting a kid almost.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like you have to learn all of it. You have to learn how to work within it, change stuff. It's really, really hard. And with a launch that happened, with the way the launch went, I feel like Abstraction would have preferred if the release was delayed, because I doubt they want to do all this extra work, have all this extra pressure. But in terms of like communication, it could be better. I mean, I feel like you can say that about a lot of game companies, but Abstraction, especially, they are very, very vague with the details they're giving. I remember I've seen stuff about Motiga obviously Motiga had SoFetch, community manager. He was talking with the community, reaching out to them, asking, and they are taking feedback from players. They are, which is important, because I feel like you need to get info and feedback from the source, but I feel like they need to just be a bit more transparent with what they're doing, why they're doing stuff. If they have any like questions about stuff they might want to change and they're unsure, ask the community, because they're the ones who are going to play. This game is not going to have a big following. We know that. We knew that coming in. It's a small, consistent player base that we want. Like 1,000, 2,000 concurrents is more than enough. Across all platforms.
Yeah, I think that level of transparency is key. I mean, any game, like you said, it doesn't really matter what game you are. If you're not as transparent, people are gonna, make shit up and talk bad or talk good about it, because you're either white knighting or you're hating on it, right? So there's this level of like, misunderstanding, and hopefully that there's somebody that over there that is listening that is more willing to put more time into that sort of opening up that book and having that level of transparency. And I always saw that an open door policy, especially in like game development, is huge. It just makes such a difference. Just being human with the development, with the community is vital. You can be as political as you want, right? And hiding behind devlogs or whatever, but I think again that level of transparency is vital. But yeah, moving sort of the segue to like the player base and the numbers that you sort of just touched on. When I was creating content, and the reason I sort of wanted to create content on Gigantic was to bring attention to the game, right? Like I did this sort of A through Z playthrough and touched on a few tier lists here and there, which I think you did as well, and I think those were pretty damn successful. But looking back at it, like I've already noticed like the staggering sort of decline in not just viewership but also interest all of a sudden, because and I'm not sure what happened, right? Sort of this decline that happened, not only the first release for Gigantic but now the second release, and we were seeing this sort of decline. And like you said, there was this understanding of like this isn't going to be like a massive esports vibe. Like it would have been great to have like 20, 30, 50,000 players on the game, obviously, but I think me and you both, and for the majority, had an understanding like this is going to be a smaller player base, right? Like, but looking at the Steam charts now, it's kind of disappointed with how low it is, and my hopes there is, and I don't know what you see, in the near future, that this ranking system or potentially other improvements will potentially boost this. Where do you see yourself standing as a content creator who, excuse me for saying this, but putting all his cookies in one place, right? Putting all your cookies in one jar, because I have experience with that. Like I've covered multiple games over the years that have died more or less, and it's difficult for content creators sort of keep that drive and stay motivated. But where do you see yourself sort of, not just like as a content creator, but like also as Gigantic moves forward within like the year or two? Are we in a final position? Are we sort of calling this is where we're at? This is like we're going to be simmering for for a little bit within the 100 to 200 players maybe, or is there a potential for it to be boosted? And I will say, I did see the free. I feel like we should have started with this actually. There's a free sort of whatchamacallit? Yeah, there's a free trial on Epic. I feel like, damn, we missed that. Because people probably clicked off the video already, but for the ones that are still here, go play the game. It's free right now. Actually, you know what? I'll probably cut this in the front of the video. Before we start this video, this game is free to play on Epic until like June 26th, I think is what I saw. But go ahead. I just side tangent there with the question. So you have the mic.
No, man, it's like I love this game. I have played so many other games. I've tried the new Valve MOBA. I've tried Project Loki. I've tried the actual MOBAs. I've got 1,800 hours in Overwatch or something like that.
Shit.
But yeah, I know it's bad, but I'm ashamed.
No, you're good.
It's nothing scratches the itch of this game. It's like spoiled me. It's so fun, it's so good, and it deserves so much better. And the original was the same. Like, the gameplay is not the issue. It's a fun game, and I have not heard anyone really disagree that it isn't fun. It's just other issues that are tainting people's like drive to play. There's queues that aren't working properly, quality of lives that aren't where they should be, and to be honest with me, I think it may sound like copium, but I think there is definitely a way for this to come back. I don't think this is it. I feel like there is a chance that, maybe they get it back on their feet. They do some marketing, they get the word out there, and once they get the game in a good position, they can leave it and just let the community run the game. Just let people who make content kind of be the advertisers in that way. And that's why I push out content. I want people to look at this game and go, yeah, I'm going to pick that up. Right. I'm going to buy that. Because I think that is so important, especially now, because people consume so much media. So I do believe in my heart that this game is not dead, and it has another chance at life to get another big boost in players, and it won't die.
Yeah. Do you think you touched on this just a couple seconds ago? Do you think that the blockers to the game expanding are more technical in terms of like it's more definitely within the code and within the development team to sort of fix the issues that are making this sort of an issue to play, more or less? It's not, like you said, it's not the design, it's not the gameplay, right? It's not the core of the game that's the issue. It seems to be more like the code or the technical aspects of the game, like servers, ping, lag, shit like that. Would you agree with that?
100%. I mean, that's look at one of the Discords, look at Reddit, look at Twitter. They put up a post about update coming. They're like, did you fix this? Did you fix this? Did you fix this? There are a lot of issues that need fixed, and that's why I think I've heard a lot of people actually are done playing. A lot of people, especially a big content creator I've spoken to, he played it within like the first week or so, and he said, I'm just going to take a step back, keep me in the loop. Once some quality of life's come through, once some issues get sorted, I'll come back and I'll play, because he still genuinely likes the game. He just thinks it isn't in a good spot to play right now. Yeah,
it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because I agree with you. Like, the game that I played, years ago was to me unforgettable. Like, it's still within my circle of friends as to like what we did and the experiences that we had. So we had fun. Like you said, like the game is not fun, right? Like, it's really freaking enjoyable. But those roadblockers, those sort of day one impressions, have certainly ruined those numbers and the sort of the expectation. So again, from our point of view as content creators, where do you like not see it going, but what can we do as a community to sort of boost these numbers? Like, should we just keep throwing content at the screen and hope for it to stick, or do we actually need the development team to step up here and be like, all right, we're fixing XYZ and it's going to take us 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, or whatever, and then we'll see player boost numbers? Or is that not a realistic take there?
I think it's a two-parter. So the first part is do what we're doing now. Put content out that, is just enjoyable for people to watch. Put out stuff that can maybe, someone clicks on the video and goes, this game's cool, I'm going to pick that up. Right. Get interest in it. Stuff like that is so important. So important, because you're pretty much giving them marketing. Right. That's a way to advertise the game. The second part is, as you said, that's what the Discords are for. That's what some of the videos I put out are for. Highlight a few of the issues the game has and kind of point and say, you guys need to fix this. This is not good. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't fix this. There's stuff like that. But I feel like content creators are they're playing a massive role in what this game's future is. Which there's a bit of pressure, because I feel like sometimes I'm like, I want to put a video out, and if I don't, that could stop certain people from playing. They don't see it. Yeah. But as I said, I am hopeful for the future that if we just keep the way we're going now, the developers
keep
get some more transparency, bro. Exactly, bro. Yeah. Like, we just need them to be more transparent. Keep working. They are working, though. They're working hard, and I do feel for them. They've got. I can imagine how much pressure they have on them from this community. They, it's not their original IP. They're working, so hard. And I just think they need to just keep doing what they're doing, be a wee bit more transparent with some of the changes they're making. And if they do that and get some marketing, once they get, maybe give it like a soft relaunch, I think this game could be absolutely fine in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. My hopes is this sort of, I don't know how apparent the sort of free-to-play week or 2 weeks is going to be to people. I think it's like 6 days, actually. That's like the 2 to 26. So that hopefully is going to drive some numbers. Unfortunately, those numbers are not going to be publicly available, because we can only go to Steam. And I do believe this is on like consoles and Game Pass, correct? If I remember correct. I don't know if it's on Game. It's just on Epic. I thought there was also like a Game Pass thing, but I might be wrong. And I'm just talking out of my ass. But in terms of sort of boosting the numbers there, I made this comparison a while ago. For me, again, approaching this from a mainstream sort of consumer, right? Like a person that plays Helldivers, Call of Duty, Overwatch, whatever, like the main sort of games there that people are drawn to a lot. I would have to make room for Gigantic, right? So I would have to invest my time and my money for that. And I always make this comparison. It's kind of like hiring somebody with it, like in your business. Like, why should I hire you? Why should you be valuable to my time? And what will I get in return for investing in you, right? Whether that is time or money, whether I throw $20 at you, or should it have been free to play? That could be another topic. But in return, like, what do I get out of this other than just a cool experience? Because games nowadays are very rewarding, or I should say, if you monetize me right, I get cool shit in return. So in terms of Gigantic, like, what is that sort of return on investment there if I do throw in, hundreds of hours into it? Because as of right now, it's a full-priced fledged game that allows you to have everything quote unquote unlocked if you do throw a decent amount of time at this, right? So from your perspective, as somebody that has probably hundreds of hours in this game already, at least compared to me, you have many more hours. What is that sort of like return on investment for a new user to sort of jump into it? Like, what are they expecting to receive in return?
Well, I mean, the best example of the main thing is the private server we played on an old version of a game that didn't get updates. It was the same build of a game. for years,
Mm.
and people still enjoyed it. You know, the gameplay is so rewarding, so replayable. There's customization that every game feels different. There's strategy. There's so much skill expression for the player. You know, there's always something to learn. Each character has their own unique thing. You know, you have to do something different with each character. Every character feels different. The art in the game is absolutely gorgeous. There's fantastic customization. There's cosmetics. There's deep lore of the game. You're getting hundreds and hundreds of hours of just exciting, rewarding matches. You know, it's none of this, you know, you hop into a game, you know, you play like a match for 5 minutes and you're out. You know, the games are a bit longer. There's more at stake. It's more risk versus reward, and it's high consequence gaming at the same time. But you it's so exciting, it's so thrilling, and you know the feeling you get when you're about to lose and you make like a massive comeback, you know, it's fantastic, and I can't get it anywhere else. As I said, like this game has spoiled other games for me. I don't find them exciting or anything anymore. Which is my big selling point, and yeah, the content that people make as well, like the community. You know, we've got people who are making there's a street that people are streaming the competitive tournaments that we have. There's casters. You know, we've got a deep like connection to this game that people are queuing through all the issues, through all the bugs, you know, because of how fun the game is. And I think that's the big thing that we need to remember. Yeah, 100%.
There's a lot of passion there for sure. I agree. So again, like as a new player, how intimidating is that though, right? Because there are, like you said, there are people out there that have been playing this in the black market for like years, and there might be a bit of a roadblock again, right? Like there's other games that are out there that I would compare this to. Like, not that the community is at fault here, but I feel like the community could also be its own hindrance in terms of new players wanting to come in and join, because there might be a massive skill gap after like a game or two where all of a sudden, like if I played against you, you kick my ass. Like that's just I might have all the knowledge from previous games, but there's just a large sort of learning curve there. And I think, you know, as content creators, it's sort of our job, or it's our passion to sort of make that a smoother ride. But what do you think that that experience is like for new players, and is there anything that can be done?
I mean, the game already isn't as simple as, it's not as complex as an actual MOBA. It's more hero shooter than it is MOBA, but it's like a perfect combination of, you know, not being overly complicated like a MOBA. There's no lanes, you know, there's not all these items you can buy. It's very, very streamlined and simple. But then it has more depth than like a hero shooter, where it's not just drop in, you know, go around shooting people. You have to upgrade, you have to customize, you have to know your character, what you need to be doing. And especially the whole mechanic of there being like a power race, you know, it's not just team deathmatch, you know, kills matter. You know, as a new player, if you're dying a lot, you're directly contributing to the enemies winning. Exactly.
You're a noob and you're feeding. Yeah, no, I get you.
But that's the thing. It's like, it can be intimidating. The game's skill floor is higher than a lot of other like traditional hero shooters, but I think it's 100% worth just putting in the time. If you genuinely like the idea of the game and you think it's interesting, and yes, it may be hard at first, I promise you, if you stick with it and you keep learning, you know, people in the community will help you. If you need help, you can go on YouTube, you know, you can go on Twitch, there's people streaming, you can ask in the Discords, and people will be willing to help you, because as much as we have issues with the game, we don't want it to die. That's why we're complaining. We want them to do something about it. And we don't want to scare new players away.
I don't think that should be shown in a bad light for people to complain about the game, right? People complaining about the game because, again, there's that level of passion there. Like, we're complaining because we want this game to be as good as what we see it being as, right? But like you said, like for the ones that are more or less struggling with the game and or want to get better or are more interested in performing at a, I want to say, higher level, do go to the Discord, right? We'll put links in this video down below. Do go to the Discord. Do go check out North Star's channel and other content creators. Maybe I'll post a few more there, but I would highly suggest sort of just grinding through that that content and sort of digesting all its goodies, because again, like the game doesn't do that good of a job within the game to explain the roles and or some of the finer mechanics of the game. Like you said, like feeding or dying actually gives points to the enemy team to be able to attack you sooner. So like that whole mechanic is not, I don't think it's something that is on the forefront. I do know that there's a tutorial, but I don't think it's like ingrained in people's minds because it is a brand new formula. In my opinion, it's a brand new sort of formula, brand new twist to the MOBA hero shooter aspect of the game. Would you sort of agree on that? Yeah,
100%. Yeah. You know, it's not like any other game, and I can't think of another game that directly has, you know, in other games you die, you know, you might give, in other hero shooters, you might give enemies a bit of ult charge, you're out of the fight for a couple of seconds, you know, in Gigantic, it's direct, you know, progress to winning, which a lot of new players don't clock onto at first, and that's why people can get a bit frustrated with, you know, you're dying over and over. Like, they say, oh, it's okay, I'm new, but like, it is, you know, contributing a lot, and it kind of feels like your team, like if someone on your team is dying a lot, you guys have to do double the amount that you normally would just to try and compensate for it. But you know, some of those games are the most fun to play. You know, you just make a massive comeback with it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. What is the game mode that's played more? Because I know there was a new game mode that was released with Rampage, right? There's Rush and there's Clash, right? What is the current sort of mainstream game mode there? Are we still on Rush or are people playing more Clash?
It's hard to tell. I don't really play Rush, so I'm not sure how many are in there. But Clash is before Ranked was released. This update, playing Clash was considered to be the ranked mode because we only had 2 at the time. So it was like, which one's harder? You know, Clash is harder than Rush, so Clash is going to be the competitive mode. But I think the more new players that will come in, I think the more that will actually enjoy Rush. Just because of the way games are nowadays. Other hero shooters are get into a game, go quick. You know, you can swap characters in Rush, just like other like Overwatch, you can swap characters. You know, it's stuff like that.
You're like responding to counters essentially, right? That's sort of 100%. Real time switching and strategy.
Yeah. So I think right now it's hard to tell, but I think as more people come in, both will have their player bases and both will be, you'll be able to get games in both, but I think Rush will probably be favored as the more popular one.
Yeah. I think I agree. It's a little bit more streamlined. It's a little bit easier. You're not planting down these creatures and stuff that could be difficult to players. And like we just touched on, like you miss position or you are that extra kill that takes them over, you know, to 100 points, and all of a sudden you're taking vital damage to your guardian, and that's GG. Why did you die 5 times in a row? You know what I mean? Like that's brutal. But yeah, I wanted to sort of touch on just Gigantic as a whole. We're approaching the sort of 30-minute mark here. Didn't want to make this too long. Is there any sort of closing arguments, sentence, takes that you want to sort of share before we close off here and wind down? Obviously, go check out North Star and all the content around that. But yeah, you have the floor here. If you want to just burst something out to the people listening.
I mean,
go play the damn game, guys. Come on, what the fuck?
I mean, it's like, look, the game it's fun. It's a fantastic game. You're gonna have, I promise you, it's enjoyable. You know, if you like competitive, if you like high stakes, if you like just thrilling, you know, the combat is fantastic. You know, everything is rewarding. It feels so good to play.
Right.
It's unlike, and it's worth every penny, in my opinion. Yes, there's bugs. Yes, there's issues that, and you know, the game isn't in the best spot it could be. But I'm kind of weary to say confident, but I have faith in the developers that they will get the issue sorted. And I hope that they are as passionate about the game that we are, because I don't want to see this game die a second time. It doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
And this game it's my favorite game I've ever played. Yeah. And I've spent 1,800 hours on Overwatch, so that's saying something.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that if people riot harder, or even continue to riot about the things that are hindering, you know, the game right now, I think there's, like you said, there's hope. There might be a second wave. I think what they're doing right now, even just getting the game up for free, right? Making it free for a little bit. I think they can do that across Steam also. I don't know why we didn't do that, but I think just getting it out to more people, sort of just like, hey, come play, you know, we're fixing, we're listening, and hopefully like this sort of push to make it sort of free for a couple of days has a few fixes. That's my hope, at least. We're not just pushing a broken product again from like day one. But I think that, you know, with rank coming soon, it's going to be a little bit more interesting to sort of dive in there and get whatever rank that you deserve, or grind some sort of skins, because I know there's some sort of skin progression there you can gain as well. But yeah, fingers crossed there. And as there's a car driving by, it seems like he doesn't know how to drive. But yeah, no, listen, appreciate your time. Obviously, let's continue staying in touch here and checking back in. Go check out North Star's content. And yeah, other than that, I hate closing off videos like this because I'm going to stop recording here, and me and you are going to continue talking for a little bit. But see you guys in the next one. And you guys, yeah, take it easy. Bye-bye. Thank you, North Star, by the way. Appreciate it.